Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time of day it is, I pray that your mind, your heart, and your spirit are all poised to receive, to accept, and respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. This is a public service announcement. If you weren't there, you don't know. Stop gossiping. Stop gossiping. Okay? Now, I know that there is effectively no cure for gossiping because gossiping is essentially a form of lying, right? And it's a form of lying that it has nothing to do with self-preservation. It has nothing to do with protecting, your loved ones or your interests. That's not why people gossip. People gossip mostly because there's something missing in their lives. There's something that's empty for them, and they just don't know how to fill it except for with the lives of other people or the appearance of other people's lives, right? Because people generally don't tend to gossip about data. People don't tend to even gossip about, other people's success and their progress and their elevation. Those are seldom subjects of gossip. People tend to gossip more about things that they think are, scandalous or things that somehow reveal a weakness in other people. That's where the gossipers really thrive. That's where they get excited, right? And but they don't know all of the facts. They don't know really any of the facts, right? And to put it into perspective, that just take into consideration, if you've ever been to therapy, you know what I'm about to say is true. Any therapist who's worth his or her salt is going to show you your BS within 20 minutes of the session, right? All of your contradictions or some of your most glaring contradictions are brought right to the forefront as soon as you start talking, right? Because there are things that you just don't know about yourself. There are things that you can't see about yourself. It's like physically you can't see the middle of your back. You can't see the back of your head without a mirror, right? So your therapist acts as that mirror, two mirrors actually, to show you, hey, there's some parts about yourself that you don't know. There's some habits and some attributes that you possess that you're unaware of, right? And the more mature you are and the more introspective you are, the more you realize, wow, there's a lot about myself that I don't know, or there's some very key things about myself that I don't know. So if I don't know myself, how is it possible that I can listen to a 10, 15-minute story from the second person and know everything about the third person? I don't, right? It's impossible. And you know it's impossible because you've been with yourself your whole life. So a 15-minute snippet from Joseph about Alex, you don't know anything about Alex except for what Joseph told you. So you're lying, right? If you go on and on talking about Alex this and Alex that, you're lying. It's not true. Okay? And we know that Iro made Ebo. Iro made sacrifice so that Iro would be indestructible. Iro has long life, has the blessing of long life. Lies will never die. Lies will never be destroyed. Okay? So I'm not trying to eliminate lies for all time. I don't believe that's what's going to be the result of this part of the conversation. But what I do want to do is at least illuminate for you what it means when you gossip, right? And I'm thinking about the pivotal scene in X. You guys remember Spike Lee's movie X, where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tells the story. He says, you give the people have been drinking dirty water. You put a glass of clean water in front of them, and you let them choose. You want to drink dirty water or you want to drink clean water, right? And so this is just an opportunity to try to put a glass of clean water in front of you as it pertains to your ability to speak and talk and communicate, so you can decide, how do you want to move, really? I watched a documentary about storytelling because that was my work, so to speak, for a while. I worked with children and I had my own children, and so I became skilled in storytelling. And in the process of trying to get an idea of the origins of storytelling, storytelling, the source of storytelling, I came across a documentary that talked about the first storytellers. Anthropologists believe the first singers, the first actors, the first dancers were actually hunters. Okay. These were guys who would go out into the forest and they would see things that other people never saw. They would see animals that come out at night in the deep forest. They would see birds. They would see fish. They would see insects. They would hear things that no one else would ever hear. Bird song, certain frogs that come out in the rain, certain things that come out early in the morning, right? And so in the process of trying to educate the people back in the village, they would mimic the sights and the sounds that they experienced in the forest. So you can imagine, in the process, you gotta move your body and you gotta make certain sounds, and it becomes storytelling. It becomes acting. It becomes dancing. It becomes a whole kind of performance that the hunters would do as soon as they got back to the village. And they would perform in front of the whole village so that people would know and understand this is what's out there in our world, right? So when you think of it in that regard, they're doing this not for the sake of entertainment, because the young children, the young boys in particular, would inherit this legacy, and they would use this knowledge and this understanding to protect themselves when they go out into the forest. So there's a real function to being able to talk and being able to entertain and engage people with words and paint pictures with words. It's a gift. It's a gift, right? To the extent that in Dahomey, the Fon people call human being Beto. Beto, G-B-E-T-O. Beto be is a speech, right? To is master. So Beto, human is human being, but Beto also means master of speech. That is how they conceptualize that Mawulisa, the creator, made human beings as masters of speech. And with this speech, we're able to convey ideas to one another. It's a very noble and divine capability. Okay? That's your clean water. That's your clean water. Understanding that you were created with this divine capacity to speak and articulate. Okay? You have an opportunity, as well as perhaps an obligation, to use that speech, use that capability responsibly. Okay? When we perform Ebo, at least in my Ebo sequence, there's a part at the end of the ritual, after you've recited 35, 45, 50 different invocations and prayers. At the very end, you place the Ebo in the hands of the supplicant, and you have them repeat this incantation, this promise, this pledge. This person is holding his or her life in his hands. He or she promises not to use his or her words to create chaos, confusion, and destruction in her or his own life or in the lives of other people. Instead, this individual promises to use his or her words to bring about mutual understanding, to uplift and elevate his or her life as well as the lives of other people. And then you breathe, Emmy, the breath, which is the only thing that differentiates life and death. That breath that Olodumare has is really, we even say that the breath doesn't belong to you, because you take them one at a time. You inhale and you exhale. You have to inhale and exhale. That breath is precious. Olodumare is the breather. Olodumare is breathing you. Okay? Olodumare is breathing you. And every breath is a blessing. Every breath is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to be reborn. And your breath symbolizes life. Emi is also synonymous with life in Yoruba language. Emi is breath and Emi is life, right? So your life and your breath belongs to the Creator, who made you the master of speech in the Dahomey context. And the only way that you show up, that your life is evident, is through your voice. Your voice carries your essence. So when you talk, you have to breathe, right? You are sending an emanation of your vibration out with every word. This is your clean water. This is your opportunity to choose. Do you want to perpetuate clean vibrations, or do you want to perpetuate dirty vibrations? Do you want to try to nourish the world with clean vibrations by telling the truth, or do you want to perpetuate negative vibrations, destruction, mayhem, chaos, through perpetuating falsehoods, half-truth? Gossip is dirty water. If you weren't there, you don't know. Do not gossip, right? Now, the opportunity is for you to really introspect, right? Because gossip it's an addictive thing for some people. I know it. I've treated people who they gossip habitually. And no matter how badly things turn out for them, they just can't seem to stop gossiping, okay? But like I said, it is the result of an emptiness or a feeling of emptiness. And so what I want to really encourage the gossipers to do is slow down and think about something that Carl Jung has said about the human psyche. We tend to respond to those people or attributes in people in a way that reflects how we feel inside. So when we feel compelled to gossip and talk about things that we truly don't know, to talk about people's lives that we truly don't know, it's an opportunity for us to think, why does this resonate with me? Why am I having such a response to who this person is dating, or where this person goes on vacation, or whether or not this person's business was successful, or, if this person makes good grades in school or whatever? Why is this person's life so compelling and intriguing to me? What is it that resonates within myself? What am I feeling? What am I seeing? Right? And sit with it and try to get as deeply into what it is, where you're coming from, okay? When you are so intrigued by other people's lives that you not only look at it or read about it or listen to it, but you then turn around and you talk to multiple other people about it. Like, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of effort. Why do you have so much energy and passion about, some episode or chapter in another person's life? What is it that is giving you the impression that your own life is so insignificant, so meaningless, so uninteresting, that you would rather focus on other people and not focus on yourself, not focus on your diet, not focus on your thought patterns, not focus on your money, not focus on your business, not focus on your craft? Why is it that someone else's life is so much more compelling than all of these other aspects of your own life? These are questions for you to ask yourself and sit with, right? And grapple with until you come with some kind of a conclusion, some kind of an understanding about what you've been programmed to think about yourself. Okay? And when you change your story about yourself, you will change the way your worldview causes you to perceive the lives of other people. Okay? So that's the lesson for today. I hope it's been meaningful for you. And for the folks who are being affected by gossip, hey, you know what? Focus on the mission. You stay focused on the mission. No matter what people think, no matter what people say, no matter what people project about you, it's not what you're called, it's what you respond to that matters. So stay on course, stay focused, keep rising, and live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. Aboraboye, aboshishe.